Hey, everyone out there, Facebook, YouTube, welcome. I'm also broad streaming on Instagram as well and trying an experiment. So today is our day. Welcome back, everyone, to Read Warrior Goddess Training. I've been reading Warrior Goddess Training for the last 6 weeks now to celebrate its 7th anniversary, which happened in September. I'm also doing Instagram today just to run a test. So we are on page 96 for those of you that want to join along. And we are going through each of the lessons in Warrior Goddess Training. We started with lesson 1, Commit to You. We will go all the way through lesson 10. Today we are on lesson 7, Open Your Heart. So really grateful to have you here, whether you are joining in on YouTube, whether you're listening later on one of the Facebook pages. Blessings to Hierophant Publishing and the Warrior Goddess Training page that's run by my publisher. So glad to be on this page as well. And also doing live on Instagram for the first time in a while. So this is me looking at both cameras. So glad that you can join us. I know, isn't the filter fun on Instagram? So the reading that we'll be doing today, again, is from lesson 7, Open Your Heart. For those of you that are joining on Instagram for the first time, hey, I will be starting over and reading from lesson 1 on Instagram. And some of you heard me share this on Friday. I'm looking into creating a new podcast, which is about me reading a little snippet of the book every day and then commenting about how it relates to our times. So that's pretty awesome. So that would be a podcast called Warrior Goddess Now. Fun. So gratitude to Warrior Goddess Training. Look how sparkly it is on Instagram. That is awesome. And welcome, everyone. Oh, so glad that you're here. Oh, good. Connie, so glad you received your book from the giveaway. And for those of you, again, that are new, welcome. I've been doing giveaways, and we're going to do a big giveaway on Wednesday. Wednesday's my birthday, October 13th. Yay to all the Libras out there, because I know my world has a lot of Libras. So happy birthday to all our Libras. And I will be sharing a big giveaway on that day. So if you're not on Hey Irma on the mailing list, please make sure you join the mailing list, warriorgoddess.com. Just scroll down to the bottom of the page and join there so you can get into the drawing. Okay, so we'll be doing a big drawing October 13th, and we'll let the winner know. Yeah. Oh, it is. Thank you. Happy Indigenous Day today. So wherever you're tuning in from, those of you, especially in the United States, it is Indigenous Peoples Day today. I am tuning in live from upstate New York. This is Lenape territory. And so grateful for all the ones that came before us. So let's just take a moment on this day, October 11th, to honor all the Indigenous Native peoples of whatever lands we are on. And if you don't know who came before you, whose land you're on, because everyone in the United States, those of us that came from other countries, no matter how long we've been here, we're settlers. This was not originally our land. And I think it's really, really important for us to understand history, understand where we came from, and also understand who was here before us. So there's a beautiful website called nativelands.ca. Pretty sure that's what it is, that you can go find out who the tribes were of the people where you're on. So please check that out. And just blessings to all of our Indigenous friends out there that are part of the Warrior Goddess community or beyond. I'm so grateful for you. We're having more and more Indigenous Native women that are joining the Warrior Goddess community. And it's such a blessing for me to know that these teachings are going to the reservations, to the cities, to Native peoples, to also be supported in their huge unraveling and stepping into their Warrior Goddess power from so many years of repression, harm, genocide. Yes. Beautiful. Thanks, everyone. Yes, the videos will save on Instagram, but I'm only going to leave them up for a day or two. So here's the thing about me reading the book is it's only up for a day or two. And then we pull it down, pull the videos down. And when I do the podcast, that won't be true. They'll be up forever. So that's exciting. Yeah. Yeah. Roberta, I agree. Serious goddess power. Let's create more of it and more conscious warrior goddesses that are aware of history of both indigenous people and lands, slavery, genocide, patriarchy, colonialism, all the things, my loves. We need to educate ourselves and to really deepen into understanding how we got to where we're at. The only way we're going to get free, I believe, is by knowing where we came from, both personally as well as collective and communally, so that we can continue to unravel and create a new paradigm. It's in process. It's messy. You know, sometimes I talk to people, especially white people, that are like, can't this be nicer? Can't this be neater? No, it's not nice and neat. It takes time to unravel these deep hurts and wounds that we have perpetrated against ourselves, against each other, and especially against indigenous peoples and African peoples. So, yeah. It's important, loves. It's something that we're dedicated to in the Warrior Goddess community. Anti-racist work, decolonializing, honoring indigenous peoples. We'll keep talking about it. Yeah, exactly. We need to learn from history so we don't repeat it. And to understand what we're untangling. Absolutely. So for the post papers, for any of you that are writing papers, please share it with me. That would be great. Okay. All right, let's read, my loves. So we're on page 96 of Warrior Goddess Training, Open Your Heart. And again, honoring Indigenous Peoples Day today. Our talk today is about loving your inner judge and victim. The most intimate relationship you will ever have with the most intimate relationship you will ever have is with yourself. But if you don't love every aspect of yourself, then your relationship is out of balance. When the inner judge or inner victim shows up, the path of the warrior goddess invites you to love these parts of yourself as well. Compassion is the key to doing so. Remember, both the judge and the victim are defense mechanisms that were born with the best of intentions to keep you safe. But the warrior goddess path shows us that both judge and the victim operate from a flawed point of view. They believe that your heart is fragile and can be broken. The judge whispers to you, if you did not have me telling you what to do, you would get hurt. You need me to keep others at a distance to tell you right from wrong. Right next to your inner judge is your inner victim. It says things like, it's not fair, this always happens to me. The victim is a part of you that is crouched in fear, waiting for the next blow to come, or whining and praying that someone will come to make things better. When you look deeply at the roles each internal part plays, you'll see the stronger your judge, the stronger your victim. They are two sides of the same coin that ping-pong back and forth between extremes. The path of the warrior goddess calls us to be aware when the voices of the inner judge or inner victim speak up, acknowledging them for what they are, and then release them with compassion. Okay, so there's an exercise. I'm just going to go ahead and read this next part around this exercise. Yeah. Noticing the messages of the judge and the victim. Think of the last few months of your life and situations that have arisen. Okay, let's pause here for a moment, people. Because when I wrote this book 7 years ago, what is happening now Whoa. So I wrote a blog last week or a newsletter last week that said why my book is woefully inadequate. And I just want to pause here for a moment because what we've been dealing with the last 18 months is a lot. Is a lot. So many of us are really stirred up, like our judge self is super stirred up, and you can see that the judge victim in the world right now is super intense. The dichotomy, the good, bad, right, wrong, the pointing fingers, there's just so much that's going on. And for us to be able to put into context the challenging times that we're in while we navigate our own internal world is really important. Okay, so pause. Going back in. Identify up to 3 examples where your judge took charge and up to 3 examples where your victim led the day. For many of us, these areas are repetitive throughout our lives: relationships, career, family, body, etc. In other words, we consistently self-judge or self-victimize over similar types of situations. By writing them out in your journal, you can better recognize them for what they are the next time they come up and consciously acknowledge and release them. This means loving these parts as a part of yourself, but choosing to no longer believe the messages they are telling you. That's the key. Here's an example. Here's a sample list. So if you want to do this exercise, don't think, just write. Okay. Judge 1. My judge told me I was doing it all wrong for not being more loving when I got frustrated and argued with my friend last week. 2. My judge criticized me when I dropped my favorite glass, telling myself I was clumsy and I didn't deserve to have beautiful things. 3. My judge got angry with me when I couldn't make up my mind and compare myself to my brother and how clear he is. Why aren't you more focused and calm as Robert? So there's an example of 3 ways our judge takes us out. Victim, here's the victim list. 1, my victim felt overwhelmed and defeated when I didn't get the job, and I felt sorry for myself and for all the other places I wasn't picked throughout my life. 2, my victim blamed all my problems on the belief that my sister got more support and love from my parents, which is why I keep picking unhealthy relationships. 3, my victim told me it's okay to eat the second piece of cake because I deserve it for all the difficulty in my life. When we list out exactly what the judge or victim is saying, we can go into our heart and replay each situation from our heart's intelligence instead of through our mind stories. How would you rewrite each of the above judge and victim statements? If you want, practice with the judge-victim list above first, and then create your own judge-victim list to rewrite from the heart. With practice, this new heart-centered way of seeing the world will become your reality. And as I've been sharing, what we're moving towards is learning how to discern versus judge, very different energetic, and how to be vulnerable versus being victimized. Okay. So those are the qualities we're moving ourselves to. So as we're working into being open-hearted, we can take these 2 lists of here's what my judge is doing, be honest about it, write it down. Here's what my victim is doing, be honest about it, write it down. And we all have these aspects of ourselves. Wait, I'm going to sneeze. Yay. And then we can rewrite from our heart. And our heart helps us with the discernment and the vulnerability. Oh, look, it's right here too, in the book, where we've learned that the opposite of judgment is discernment. When we discern, we access the clear wisdom of our mind and our heart working together. Contrast this with how quickly your heart closes when the judge appears in any form. This is how you can tell if you're judging rather than discerning. Your heart will clench. An open, I do not like this behavior, is very different than he is a horrible asshole, or you suck. You blew it again. I knew you would. You couldn't do anything right. When the heart speaks through discernment, there is compassion, which sometimes can be gentle and sweet, or other times can be forceful, direct, and cut to the truth instantly. Compassion is not a passive, no action place, but a powerful, passionate embrace of life stemming from the heart. To unweave the binds around our heart's wisdom and transition from a judging, closed stance, to a present, compassionate opening takes practice. By becoming aware of where you are using your judge internally and externally, you will learn to take new action. Okay, so we're on page 98 of Warrior Goddess Training. Hey, Wendy. So, hey, everyone that's out there. Thanks for joining me, whether you're watching live on Instagram, which this is the first time that I've done this, or watching later on one of the many platforms. I'm reading from Warrior Goddess Training every weekday, or one of our mentors, to honor the 7th anniversary of the book and to just share the teachings. Yeah. So this reminder of, it's not that we're trying to get rid of the judge or get rid of the victim. They're part of you. It's not about repressing, denying, pretending they don't exist. It's about opening your heart and saying, okay, what is my judge saying? Write it down. Sometimes when you write it down, you then realize, whoa, this is so mean. Like, I'm being so mean to myself or other people. And instead of then using the judge against yourself, judging yourself more for judging, can you step back and open your heart and really feel into what's going on? How do you discern rather than judge? Same thing with the victim. How do you acknowledge what's happening in the victim, what your victim's saying? Step back, open your heart. Where are you feeling vulnerable? Right? Yeah. So here's, in honor of today, which is Indigenous Peoples Day, I'll share 2 things that I've been navigating. Yeah. And one is judge, is this constant feeling that I'm not doing enough, and frustrated that I have a platform and I want to use it really well to educate, to inform, to inspire people to be more honest and to be more engaged around Indigenous rights and around anti-racism work. So when I'm judging myself in that way, I'm not able to take action because there's this heaviness, there's this weight. But when I can step back and discern and say, okay, what can I do today? What action can I take? That's not from judgment, that's from discernment. Discernment then allows us to take good action with whatever the thing is. I'm just sharing about part of my experience so you get a sense of the difference between judgment and discernment, because usually judgment doesn't cause us to take good action. It causes us to spiral and feel ashamed and go then into victim, right? And the victim then feels overwhelmed. And the difference is, where can we tap into vulnerability? To really soften into vulnerability so we can feel the tenderness. So today I'm feeling tremendous tenderness around just this day, these times, how much hurt has happened. Yeah, just to be in relationship with the vulnerability as well, of wanting to do it differently. Yeah. So there's a beauty when we land back into our heart from the place of discerning where we could do better, or where we could take action, or what our next steps are that we learn. And also this tenderness of being vulnerable, like shifting that victimized, it never works, I'm never doing it right, the world's against me, to where do you feel tender and vulnerable? And in this way, we soften. And in that softening, we open the heart and we get out of the stories and into the next step from the heart. Okay, a couple questions. Sakina, can daydreaming help you be intelligent? Yes and no. Depends on how you're using the daydreaming. Anything we do, meditation, eating the best foods ever, daydreaming, like anything, I believe, can be used to benefit us or to be used against ourselves. Right? So how are you using Daydream? Only you can answer that question. Can it be used to increase your intelligence? I believe absolutely, but it can also be used to numb you out. How are you using it? That's always the question, loves. When you discern, you're able to be honest with yourself. Can you give an example of a rewrite from the heart using example of judge one and victim? Absolutely. Let's do it. I love that. Feeling so tender today. All right. Judge one. My judge told me I was doing it all wrong for not being more loving when I got frustrated and argued with a friend last week. Okay, probably all of us can relate to this form of judgment where the judge is saying, you blew it, you did it wrong, you always do it wrong, you're never going to have any friends, you're always out hurting people. So, right, that's that energy of judge, right? Yeah, pointing, hard, closed, comparing, criticizing, okay? So how would we rewrite that from discernment? The rewrite would be settling into connecting to the heart and opening and say, okay, what's true? I always look at what's true. I got in an argument with my friend last week. So I'm just going on this, again, this exercise. So my judge told me I was doing it wrong for not being more loving when I got frustrated and argued with my friend last week. So you'd start with where it's true. I argued with my friend last week, period. Remember the period, your best friend, period. Take a breath. Okay, that's true. What was the discernment? And then maybe the discernment is we argued because I really wanted them to believe what I believe. You just take responsibility. You know, so much of discernment is taking responsibility. Or we argued because I was really tired and exhausted. Okay. Or we argued because I'm trying to actually control them and they're not behaving the way I want them to. You got to be ruthless with yourself, honest out of love. And then you go back and decide, how do you make amends? What do you do next? Is there an apology that's needed? Is there a course correction? You learn from it. So instead of making your friend wrong or yourself wrong, what do you want? I always look at part of the discernment is, what do you want? What's your intent? And then what is your next action based on that intent from taking responsibility? And this doesn't mean taking responsibility for your friend. It's only taking responsibility for you. Okay, so I hope that helps. I'm not going to give you super concrete because this is about learning our own skills, right? How to do it. Victim. So here's another one. My victim felt overwhelmed and defeated when I didn't get the job, and I felt sorry for myself and for all the other places I wasn't picked throughout my life. Okay. So that victim where something you don't get, let's say you don't get something or somebody doesn't call you back or you don't get the job, whatever it is, what you want to look at is where your victim is then, nobody ever has loved me properly. I'm never going to have a relationship. I'm never going to get the job that I want. I've always just done what other people wanted me to do. The victim then continues this dialogue and we need to stop again, period. What am I feeling? I'm feeling vulnerable because I really wanted that job. And my heart feels hurt that I didn't get it. So I'm just going to sit with my disappointment without punishing myself or pulling in every other place I was rejected in my life, perceived rejection, and ask myself, what do I need? And what are my next steps? So then we really connect with what's actually going on for us. And instead of spinning into the victim story, we can stop ourselves and come back to right here, right now. How do I feel? And then we can be honest about what's happening emotionally and release, clear, open. Okay. So that helps a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you guys are asking these huge questions. Why do we argue? You know, here's the things, love. Arguing is actually normal. It's normal that we're going to have conflict when we're deepening our intimacy with other people, when we're finding our way. Yeah, you're welcome, Connie. So it's not about avoiding conflict or not arguing. That is not a sign of spiritual betterness. We're really learning how to grow and take responsibility. And for me, conflict or arguing, when it's done mindfully, when it's not out of reaction, or when we go back, when we have a trigger or reaction, we go back in later and clean it up, increases intimacy. Yeah, agree to disagree. Exactly. And that we get to see, like when we argue or when we're upset, we get to see where we're trying to control other people, where we don't feel heard, where we want a particular outcome, where we think we or somebody else should be different. We get to see, what are we doing that's contributing to the argument, and how can we open our heart more so that we're discerning what actually needs to be said here and what doesn't. And that conflict is not the problem. Our relationship to conflict is the problem. Okay? I'm going to say that again because it's kind of important, loves. Conflict's not the important. Conflict brings change and energy and growth when it's done right, when it's done mindfully. And it can bring more intimacy. But when we do it unconsciously, we're hurting ourselves or others because we have agreements and stories of what should happen. And we get to learn, Carrie, exactly when to engage and when to walk away. When it's an important to stay and deepen with somebody else, and when it's important to just say, nope, that's discernment. Once again, we're back to discernment. Good. Yeah, exactly. It's always time to rewire our thoughts. Ongoing. So thanks everyone for joining me today. Again, we're reading from Warrior Goddess Training. I'm reading every weekday from at 7 a.m. Los Angeles, 10 a.m. New York, 3 p.m. London. And you're welcome to join me here. For those of you that are on Instagram, I will start reading on Instagram. This was kind of a test to see if I could do both. And look, kind of can. But I'm going to start from chapter 1 on Instagram sometime soon. And I'm also looking into creating a podcast that is called Warrior Goddess Now, which is about reading the book and transforming, like looking at issues that are happening now and how it relates. So I'm excited about that. And last thing, 2 things actually. So reminder, if you're not on the email list, if you want to join, I send out newsletters every Tuesday. And we also are doing a big giveaway on Wednesday. It's my birthday. I'll be doing a bunch of webinars that day because I love doing giveaways on my birthday. Thanks, Carla. I'm excited about the podcast. I'm getting more excited about it. And so if you want to be part of the big grand drawing, please join our mailing list, warriorgoddess.com. Just scroll to the bottom to the footer. And we also have the circle open. So the Warrior Goddess Training Circle is where we have a closed membership circle where we do a tremendous, beautiful gathering of beings to deepen into the Warrior Goddess teachings. We come together in community. It's a place where you'll meet your next best friend, almost guaranteed, where you'll feel completely supported and seen and loved unconditionally, maybe for the first time in your life. And where you'll get tools, really practical tools to navigate these times. All the tools that we share as part of the Warrior Goddess Training Circle are incredibly practical to what's happening now. And how do we bring more energy into our being? How do we stay steady? How do we discern? How do we create boundaries? How do we stay stable when everything around us is unstable? How do we keep clearing out the weight and the way that energy leaks when we're in discernment? When we're in judgment or victim, how do we open our hearts? So we answer all of these questions in the circle, and now you can join for free through November 1st. So you can come in and check it out, warriorgoddess.com/circle. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat. warriorgoddess.com/circle. Go check it out. The coupon code is YAY. So if you want to join us for free to come check out the circle, to get some of the tools, to get we did some amazing spring equinox retreat last weekend, weekend before. So all the recordings for that are available. It's a tremendous, tremendous resource. And there's so much that is included in the circle for a very low price. So the circle normally is $97 a month. And for now, you can join for free to check it out. warriorgoddess.com/circle. Coupon code is YAY. No obligation. Just a gift from my heart to yours. All right, sweet ones. Well, I will see you tomorrow again, right here, wherever you're tuning in from. Those of you that are on Instagram, I'll try and post again here. And you are loved from my heart to yours. Thank you for the being that you are. You are important. You are needed. Your wisdom, your creativity, your wackiness, your insights, your intuition, your knowing, your play, all of it is needed. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that we get to walk this path together. And I'm really excited for our upcoming journey of the 9 moons that we'll be doing together soon in the circle. It starts next weekend after. Starts the weekend after. So join warriorgoddess.com/circle, coupon code YAY if you want to be part of the beginning of the journey of the 9 moons, which starts in a couple weeks. Yes, and blessings, blessings. Blessed Indigenous Day to everyone. Please go learn more about the people of the land that you're on. And if you are an Indigenous person, just know that we are holding you in our hearts today and all days, not just today. For me, every day is Indigenous Peoples Day. Every day is a learning of the harm that has happened so we can repair it. Yeah. I'm here for the repair, for sure. And that repair for all of us, repair takes looking at the damage, being honest. So please go follow Native American Indigenous peoples, Lila June, Tanaya Winder, Tanaya Winder. Just their name again wrong. Tanaya Winder are 2 women that I really love and follow, and many, many, many others. And I just want to do a shout out also for our Warrior Goddess Indigenous women. Vina Chi is one of our facilitators. There's many women that are now joining and bringing the work back to their people. So just so much gratitude. Go learn more about Indigenous peoples in your area, no matter where you are. You know, even in Europe, when people are like, yeah, I'm from Europe, I'm Indigenous, go read about the Sami people. If you want to see what we've done to Indigenous people, go check out the Sami. All right. I love you. I love you all so much. I'm grateful to be here with you. Thanks for joining me again. Blessed day. Take good care of yourselves. Bye-bye. That was fun. All right. There it is. Bye. Oh, it's still going. I love that. Okay, ending the broadcast now. And I just added the nativeland.ca link for those of you that want to learn more about the people where you live.